Excellencies, distinguished guests, members of civil society, and friends. Canada is, as Brandon said, a strong supporter of human rights, and we are absolutely delighted to be hosting the opening of the 17th Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy. It's an understatement for me to say that it's a profound honor to speak before you today. This is a moment, a critical juncture in our shared pursuit of human rights and accountability, dignity, and democracy. Around the world, civil society stands as the conscience of our societies. Human rights activists, victims, and survivors of human rights violations, former political prisoners, you all serve as a beacon of hope in the face of violence, discrimination, and injustice. Your voices challenge impunity, demand justice and accountability, and your courage reminds us that human rights are not abstract ideals, but are made real by your personal sacrifice and remarkable commitment. In too many places around the world, your voices are being silenced. We see alarming trends of increasing intimidation, harassment, and arbitrary detention. When civil society is weakened, democracy is hollowed, and respect for human rights, particularly for the most marginalized communities, erodes. Our response must be resolute. We must protect and create an enabling environment for civil society. We all have an obligation to safeguard freedom of opinion and expression, as well as freedom of association and peaceful assembly, and ensure that activists, journalists, and dissidents can operate without fear of retribution. And that's why we're all here today, to listen, to defend, to uplift, and to act. I want to thank all the speakers for being here and for your strong and continued championing of democracy and human rights, in many cases at great personal risk to yourselves. We also wish to thank the coalition of non-governmental human rights groups from around the world for organizing the summit. Canada greatly values the contribution of civil society at the United Nations and is a champion for civil society here in Geneva and, of course, at other UN sites. We will continue to support your important role within the UN and within the human rights system. It's also an honor, as a Canadian, to be here for the recognition of Irwin Cotler, who has dedicated his life to advancing human rights. He is no stranger to the hardships that are endured by activists, human rights defenders, and dissidents, and has spent many years working on cases in the areas of free speech, freedom of religion, minority rights, war crimes, and justice. We wish you a very productive 17th Geneva Summit. Thank you very much.